I first heard of Lady Eveline Thornehill's vanishing on a rain-heavy afternoon in late October, when the Thames resembled molten pewter beneath storm-lit skies. Detective Alastair Finch had just finished rearranging his library by the order of degree of guilt of each author's protagonists when a knock echoed through the hall. A constable, soaked and breathless, handed him a damp envelope marked "Urgent, Thornehill Manor." Inside was a single sentence written in looping feminine cursive. "He is here again, and the whistling never stops." Finch's brow creased slightly. "Whistling?" he murmured, turning to me. "Tell me, Clara, how often does a ghost give you a time limit?" It wasn't a question, it was a challenge. Thornehill Manor lay perched on the edge of Dartmoor, half swallowed by moor mist and ivy. By the time our carriage wheels crunched on the gravel drive, dusk had bled into night, casting long, dagger-like shadows from the hedgerows. A brooding figure met us at the door, Rupert Thornehill, the missing lady's husband. He spoke with an oddly delayed cadence, as though translating each word from a language only he could hear. "She vanished yesterday, without sound or trace, except," he added reluctantly, "for the note and the sound, that tune." Finch cocked his head. "Whistling?" Rupert nodded. "Just before she was gone." And then silence. Miss Isadora Blythe had sharp eyes despite her soft voice and worn hands. "She'd grown afraid," she said, pouring weak tea in the west drawing-room. "Said she heard him. The whistling man, she called him. Thought he came from the moor. Said he wore a long coat and no face, only a mouth that never stopped." Finch leaned forward. "Did you hear him too?" The maid paused. "Only once. Yesterday morning. 3 notes. High, low, high." She hummed it, and the room chilled. Finch scribbled in his notebook. "That's a hunting call," he said, "but the prey seems to be missing." That night, Finch walked the edge of the moor, lantern in hand. I followed, though the wind bit like teeth. Near the twisted stone fence he stopped suddenly, raising his lantern. There in the mud, 3 perfect footprints, deep, wide, and facing the house. "Someone came in," he muttered, "not out." Then from the brambles a soft whistle, high, low, high. We froze. Finch turned slowly. "We're being watched." The whistle came again, closer, but when we turned our light toward the sound, there was nothing. Only mist, and a small silver pin on the ground, shaped like a raven's eye. Lady Thornehill's bedroom was locked from the inside when she vanished, and none could explain it. Finch examined every surface, tapping the walls and floor. Then he pointed to the wardrobe. 3 sets of heel marks. One of them is not hers. He opened it. Inside, neatly hung dresses, and a panel shifted open, revealing a narrow passage descending into darkness. "The manor has secrets," he said, "and someone else knew them better than Lady Thornehill herself." He led us down, torch flickering. The passage ended in a bricked-up wall, except one brick was loose. Behind it, a velvet bag of women's rings, none of which matched Lady Thornehill's collection. Inspector Felix Roan arrived in the early morning, trench coat steaming with damp. "No signs of forced entry, no ransom note, no body," he growled. "Maybe she just left." Finch raised an eyebrow. "Through a locked room, without shoes?" They argued until a housekeeper brought us a discovery, a weather-beaten book found in the garden hedge. Finch took it with gloved hands. "A ledger," he said, flipping pages. "Lists, names, dates, every few months." His voice slowed. "Women, all with titles, all reported missing over the past 12 years. At the end of the list, Lady Eveline's name, in fresh ink." That evening, a scream from the cellar brought everyone running. We found the butler collapsed beside the wine racks, eyes wide. "He was there," he whispered, "whistling, long coat, mouth like a hole." But there was no one in sight. Finch stepped deeper into the cellar and tapped the walls. Behind the oldest casks, he found it, a hidden door leading to a crumbling underground chamber. In its center, a wooden chair with leather straps, and beside it, a metronome ticking in silence. "A place for breaking people," Finch said. "But not just Eveline. Someone's been doing this for years." Over brandy and candlelight, Finch pieced the timeline aloud. 12 titled women, all vanished without reason, each near a moor, each house tied to a single architect, Nathaniel Blythe. Isadora's face turned pale. "My grandfather," she whispered. Finch nodded. "He died in an asylum, designed every one of these homes, and left behind passageways no one else knew." Clara tapped the ledger. "And the whistling man?" Finch's gaze darkened. "A lure, a myth, used to distract. But the real villain walks among us, silent, learned, and still here." The candles guttered suddenly. From the hall came a long, low whistle. The next morning, Finch requested all servants gather in the ballroom. He paced slowly, eyeing each face. "Someone here knows the truth," he said, "and wore the face of the myth." Isadora sobbed. "It was Rupert, wasn't it?" Finch shook his head. "Number he was a puppet." He turned to the footman. "Take off your shoes." The man hesitated. "Now." Reluctantly, he removed them, revealing socks lined with cotton to change his gait. Finch stepped forward. "You're not the footman. You're Doctor Edric Vale, criminal psychologist. Disappeared from Broadmoor 8 years ago." The man straightened, smiling. "It took you long enough." Dr. Vale, once heralded as a genius in mind control and fear therapy, had vanished after patients at Broadmoor began dying. Finch's voice was low. "You turned myths into weapons, used the whistling man as fear conditioning. You manipulated these women, and when they cracked, you made them disappear." Vale chuckled. "Fear is the most elegant leash." Clara asked, "Where is Lady Eveline?" Vale smirked. "Not far." Finch led us back to the cellar and opened the wall behind the strapped chair. There, pale and shaking but alive, was Lady Thornehill, drugged but breathing. "You underestimated hope," Finch whispered to Vale. With Vale arrested, Finch remained quiet. I found him in the west garden, gazing across the moor. "Why the whistle?" I asked. He replied, "Simple. It never seems threatening until it's the only sound left." Lady Thornehill recovered, though she never again set foot in the manor. She gifted it to a trust for trauma victims. The case haunted me for months, not because of the evil it revealed, but because of how close evil could stand beside